Everyone is desperate to do well, to win every weekend, but we haven't been clean enough ultimately.
Previously in the past, you could make a mistake and maybe get away with it, but that's just not the case in SailGP anymore.
Canada will go 8th.
Right now, I'm not happy with how we're going, frustrated as hell.
With the Canadians finishing in 11th.
In many ways, we've been overcomplicating it.
And now it's all about timing.
The depth of the fleet being so strong, each one of those little mistakes is such a huge cost.
Our Achilles heel, it's been accuracy.
You can look at it, we're not going to make the top 3 for the season, so we've got to do everything we can to learn.
Through the middle, they're going to be fast.
If you look at it another way, you know, the team needs a good result.
Canada are on fire.
Saint-Tropez was tough.
Canada definitely late here.
We had an injury on board in race 1.
More press, 50 trick.
And then we just weren't able to put it together in the last 2 races.
On Canada parking in front of Australia.
Oh, that was a day.
Came out thinking we're gonna have another day to redeem ourselves. And yeah, the racing was canceled with the chance of thunderstorms. And that was a major disappointment as well as the result.
The best thing about the result in Saint-Tropez is that we only needed to wait a week before we could go again.
You know, that is a big fountain, isn't it?
It is a big fountain, and they have the ability to turn it off because in the right breeze direction it will go all over the mooring field.
So good.
Not for today.
So, you know, we hit the ground running in Geneva. Our goal is to come out swinging and get a good result and, you know, try and turn the season around.
Everyone was working pretty hard between the 2 events to figure out, you know, what sort of gains we could do. But we also knew it was going to be a very different event with the new LAB2 foils, the new rudders. We knew it was going to be a super light air venue. So we knew it just might be a huge variety of conditions. We just had to kind of be prepared for anything.
We can't do worse than Saint-Tropez. We're definitely a better team than that. We want the opportunity to throw down the way we know we can.
The big challenges of Geneva is, firstly, there's not much wind. Secondly, we've got brand new foils on and rudders.
The SailGP Technologies guys have been working real hard to give us a light air piece of equipment that has sort of the same design ethos behind it. And this is the first time that it's going to be coming on board for us. Like everything we do here at SailGP, you know, you're thrown into the fire pretty quickly, and this new package, light air package, is no different.
Practice day was not really enough wind to get the new foils going. I think we foiled maybe once off the course. So it was a bit frustrating not to be able to get a bit more time and experience on those foils going into race day. And yeah, there's a lot to learn overnight and yeah, a lot to make sure we can get right going into race 1.
So always a lot to learn while you're trying to put results on the scoreboard. So that always makes a tricky transition from a foil that we've had a ton of sailing on and know really, really well to something that's a pretty big unknown on how it's going to perform and what the little nuances of it are going to be. So there's a lot of learning going on with the new package while we're racing and trying to put up a good result on the scoreboard, but also trying to learn as much as we can.
The call was made by the race committee that we were going to sail 3 up, which is something we've only really done once or twice. We did it in New York. And this was going to be the first time doing it on the T-foils. So yeah, very different, kind of throws everybody into the deep end straight off the bat. Puts a lot more emphasis on each person to do 2 people's jobs effectively. So when you take off, the helmsman's generally flying and the flight controller's generally grinding. And then as a wing trimmer, I then lose my ability to adjust the sheet. I have to do everything on twist because our grinder comes back and starts flying the boat. So it's tricky in a straight line, and then you've got to put it through the corners and, you know, do twice as many jobs in each corner. So yeah, it is hard, but I actually really quite enjoy it. It's quite challenging.
In typical sailing, you know, if it's light, you want the boat to be as light as possible. And SailGP is no different. As the wind decreases, kind of to make sure the show goes on and that it's still an exciting day, they slowly remove people from the boat to help the boats foil earlier. They first remove the G1, which is the role I do. And then if it's really, really, really light, they just do 3 people on the boat, which is, the boats are too complicated to sail for 3 people. So it's a bit of a marginalized sailing approach. So you have to decide what is most important in different times and prioritize those things.
So when we sail with only 3 people, I come off the boat and I watch from the chase boat. So it feels more intense for me, not on the F50, than it does when I'm actually racing. And when you see the team have a tough race, it weighs on the sailors on the rib in a different way.
Looking for that line to turn white, and now it's all about timing. How's your timing, Peter Burling?
On that board, Lee. Yep. Very nice, guys.
With what?
Really? Oh, fuck.
And it's super challenging. I mean, we're sailors, we want to race, and sometimes the conditions don't deliver. In 2 regattas, I only sailed 1 day, so coming away and not being able to be on the boat is super tough.
We got one excellent start where we were out in front with the French.
I think the black foils are going to be too late.
Here we go at mark number 1, and they do it NASCAR style, 3 wide as they come around.
And then we had 2 not so good starts where we had to fight our way back through the fleet. One of those races we did fight our way back through the fleet really well and got a mid-fleet result. You end the day with a good result, an average result, and a rubbish result. So, actually that kind of gives you an average day. We were sitting just outside the top 3. There's a huge amount of varied results out there, so no one really smashed it and no one was miles out the back. So actually that mid-pack was super tight and meant it was all to play for on day 2.
We have anywhere from 3 to 6 people on this boat. We're a team. And then when you have the super light air racing, sometimes it's just a roll of the dice, and all the processes that you have in place and all the stuff you have behind the scenes that is trying to prepare you to go out on the water, that goes out the window because it's just sort of God decides sometimes what you're going to get breeze-wise and shift-wise. And so I think we got on the tricky end of that a few times. It's a number of factors, and at the end of the day, we win as a team and we lose as a team.
Day 2 was actually even lighter than day 1. We couldn't even fly 1 hull at times. We started off the back.
To turn and burn on New Zealand as the line goes white.
I'm here to get it.
We had to try and fight our way through the pack, which is super hard in those conditions because there's so much dirty air from the boats in front of you.
Pack is a lot harder because there's a lot fewer overtaking opportunities.
We needed to capitalise on a decent overnight position and we just didn't manage that,
So the race has now been officially terminated. All the rest of the teams now can head back, get themselves into the position for the start of the next race.
The challenge in these light conditions is you're not really sure what kind of speed you're going to be able to accomplish. So it's really challenging to get your time on distance to the line correct.
Anyone that's watching can tell that we're not getting off the start line as well as we would like to be at the moment. There's part of that is that we're trying a few new things. Now that we've kind of got in a position where we're not going to make it into the top 3 for the season, we've got to make sure we hit the ground running come season 6. I think we're doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure that is improving. We can go up through the fleet, but if we're starting at the back the whole time, it makes life pretty hard.
Every team is desperate for results, and there is way more teams that are capable of winning. The league is very much, it very much emphasises the ups and the downs. We've been saying that all season, and we just need to ride it out and keep working hard.
Geneva was such a weird event because it was so light. There was times where we were just drifting around, and it hardly felt like sailing. In those moments, everything happens so slow. When it's painful, it becomes more painful, and it continues to be painful. In those moments, you just see the bad things going worse, and you have less opportunities to make these big, changes or pass boats. Basically, if you didn't start well, you kind of followed the pack around. The guys in the front kept doing better, and the guys in the back kept doing worse, just because there was no breeze.
If the wind is super light, then you're not going to be able to get up to the targets. Or you could get right up to the line and be with all the other boats really slow right on the line, and then any boat coming from behind who does get enough wind just makes you look silly and you're standing still. So it's a really tough position to be in, and to finish 9th is obviously pretty bad for our standard and what we want, but I mean, these are good teams ahead of us, and they're hard to beat. So if you're not on it, that's the result you'll expect.
When when you're in a sports team and you go through some hard times, naturally you want to know why. It's very easy to create a why, but whether or not that why is actually the real why is a little bit more ambiguity there. There's been a lot of that questioning. I think there's a bit to be said for just taking a bit of a step back and just going out there and backing ourselves as sailors, doing what we normally do.
You know, we're at the end of the season. We've had a few bad events that have brought us down the results, and we're out of reach for the grand final. So it's just about getting some podiums and figuring out how we can set ourselves up better for next season.
Yeah, Cadiz. I guess a love-hate relationship with Cadiz. We've had some pretty big stuffs and some pretty big low points as a team here. But we've also had a lot of really high points, so there's a lot to be looking forward to.
Will be sweet for the Canadians as they cross the line and win race number 4.
I kind of see this as the start of next season, and a great way for us to have like 4 days of racing. I think it's 8 days of sailing or training in total between now and the end of the year. Good opportunity to learn some things, do some things differently, and so we hit the ground running in Perth next year in the way that we all hope and want. Good luck today. You've got Greg on the boat. Please don't kill him. We need him.
First-time team owner. The only other role I've had in sports is the player. This is a completely different aspect, and trying to understand the nuances of it. But what people don't appreciate is what you have to do to be allowed to be on the boat. I call it, they have 2 divers who try to drown you, and they want to make sure that you can use the equipment appropriately.
Hey, how you doing? Simon.
Hi, Simon. Greg.
Welcome to your safety training.
Thank you, sir.
Then we're going to get you suited up with some kit. We'll do some dry drills up here, and then we'll get you back down onto the water, and we'll get you into the water.
Have we checked the bacterial level in the water?
No.
Where's that doctor gone? You've got this full kit on with a harness, and you have a respirator and with 2.5 to 3 minutes of oxygen. So what they do is they drill you before you even get in the water.
Pulling that out, deploy. Don't forget to breathe. That's it. Nice work. Really good.
That's the process. But because I would scuba train, it didn't seem that awesome. So being held underwater, you just, exhale, breathe, chill out.
Yeah. Wow, that's fun. When you're ready, step on in. You can jump in, you can do cartwheels, do anything you like. No, not doing this, just children. Ready? Here we go. Good. Excellent. Happy?
All good?
Just for information. You want to get?
It's actually not too bad.
Were they
Ruthless.
They were.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, they're an
He's not as harsh as we are on the drivers, but he said we will give you a
Nice. Cool.
There were 2 things I was concerned about. One was how cold the water was going to be. I wanted to do everything, to feel the true experience. So that was everything from being allowed to drive to running across the boat. And what should I do when I'm driving?
It's like a car. You got your driver's license, right?
No, suspended.
Really?
Okay.
Get your driving, and you can cross as you want. If you don't want to cross, you can stay in the one cockpit. It's kind of completely up to you.
No, I'd like to try the cross.
Okay.
You get a feeling for what it's like. You are shocked with the complexity. I mean, this is akin to a plane. But when you have a good team, the simplicity of it.
Greg, we got something for you early on in the season, but finally your time has come to get on board. And I think it's important that you wear this because we see you as Canada's next best talent. Pick your role, pick your adventure.
Talented. Whoa!
How about that?
Look at that. That's great. And now to show my incredible sailing expertise, what do I do with it?
Oh.
I'm just kidding. You quickly pick up the rhythm. super exciting. And the G-forces at 50K are profound. You're still getting pulled to the side and you have to be able to hang on to something. And I would hate to be running across the deck at that point in time, which some of the grinders have to do. It's exponential after 50K. And also the water was relatively flat when we were doing it. We were up on foil the whole time, which also changes the paradigm. So you're not getting bounced around, which was my fear in running side to side.
Go. Foiling track to finish, Greg. Awesome job.
I think that I definitely want to do it in the higher winds to get a feeling for what that is, because that must be extraordinary. I mean, the boat's flying. You know, you're literally up in the air flying across the water. It's an extraordinary experience.
How was it?
Good, particularly when he says, okay, you take the wheel, we're coming about.
You were awesome.
And you get to feel it. And also the running side to side.
I think you might be the only owner that's ever attacked a foiling boat.
Get that down, Guinness Book of Records, one in a row. And watching them as they are coming across during the turn, like Tim and Tom, that's impressive.
Thumbs up. Well done, Greg.
Thank you.
I mean, a huge part of this team is developing the sport of sailing in Canada. Everyone on the team is a mentor and has a mentee that they stay in touch with a couple times a month and just try and help them get through whatever they're dealing with within the sailing industry in Canada. And so it's a huge part of the team to try and grow that.
My mentee Phoebe is actually here this weekend. She's working on the shore side and getting a real life experience of what a SailGP regatta is like. Yeah, so obviously it's a bit different having spoken on the phone, and obviously we did do that one M32 event together, but yeah, what's it like kind of being here and experiencing it all firsthand?
It's been good. Even the first time I met you, I really admired sort of the way you approach the races with the M32, so I was really glad when I got you as a mentor, and we were able to chat through a lot of things, and now kind of seeing the full process has been a nice sort of lead up too.
Yeah.
And
yeah, you've been quite involved in the shore team, eh?
Yeah, lots on prepping the boat, and then it's been nice to be on the water. And
I guess being with the shore team is pretty good though, because you get to know how all the bits work, where when you sit in the sailing briefings, you kind of don't get the hands-on experience. Yeah, I mean, there's a certain amount you can learn from talking to everyone on a call, but there's nothing that really beats being here at a regatta, you know, busting out 14-hour days with the shore team. It's pretty priceless that she can come to these events. And
obviously we're so limited time on these boats, so to develop younger sailors, not really possible directly, but to have more young sailors in the industry sailing competitively is super important. So when we can help with that, will ultimately be beneficial for our team.
how has this been for you? It's been tricky.
Yeah, we're in a bit of a rut at the moment. We need to kind of shake out of it. Yeah, obviously the starts are a big focus, but I kind of wonder if we've overanalyzed and made things more complicated, where actually we just need to do the simple stuff well. Now everyone's just got that little bit better.
Yeah, the fleet is really just like
the fleet has got good, yeah.
So close.
And we're just making a few errors around the course. We just get punished so hard.
On these tight race courses too, like there's no space.
Yeah, we'll bounce back. We'll be fine. But it's great to have her involved here, and so she can put some of that advice into practice, and every step forward she can do to try and ensure she can get a job in this industry.
With these last few events, it has put a huge precedent on starting performance because of how marginal the conditions were.
Germany come threading the needle here. Eric Heil on fire. What a start by the Germans.
If the boats are only just foiling and you get rolled by one boat and get put in their dirty air, you're not going anywhere, it's game over.
Wing siege.
That's why over the last few events, you'll see the winning boat is almost at the top gate before the boat in 11th or 12th is at the leeward gate, which doesn't happen in other venues.
The other thing being, you know, our starts recently have been firsts or deep lasts, and you know, getting some that are just 3s, 4s, 5s, that's a good result for us because then we can move forward from there.
Oh, he's been a little bit late in the middle. The whole fleet neck and neck, but the black foil should be fast.
Denmark out in front. Italy will go 7th, Canada will go 8th.
One of the things about Cadiz that is very unique that we don't often see on the circuit on SailGP is that we have a sea state here. So we have this long ocean swell that comes in from the Atlantic Ocean in the bay in Cadiz. Well, makes my life very, very tricky.
2, 1, coming out. That's on this one. Down 5. Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Oh, wow. Okay.
Lined up for a pretty nasty couple sets of waves, and we pierced. It's going to try and bring it back down into the water. So you have to try and bring the boat back up. And right at the second where I sort of gave it a handful to bring the boat back up, we sailed out of the back of the wave and boat went up into the sky and then very much down into the water. And we had a bit of not a catastrophic from a boat perspective, but a catastrophic crash for the result of that race.
With the Canadians finishing in 11th.
Yeah, tough one for the Swiss and the Canadians there, really.
You know, the focus at the moment has got to be learning, you know, getting better in the long term and getting better in those conditions where the fleet is coming back early to the start line and we need to be able to get a good result out of those starts.
French. I'm French.
It's going to come about timing now. Canada are on fire through the middle. They're going to be fast. Emirates Great Britain well timed again. Who's got it right? Oh, what a start by NorthStar there. Absolutely nailed it through the middle of the line.
If we can get inside that, you know, you're going to be looking at a winning team.
And as they approach mark number 1 in the final fleet race of the day, Giles Scott, NorthStar Canada, grabbed the whole shot. Martini Grail, Mubadala Brazil right behind him.
The results ultimately are the key marker there for everyone.
Mubadala Brazil will be looking to dive inside, trying to get into the circle without being overlapped. What a moment to take the lead. If they can get foiling, it's going to be Brazil and Martini Grail taking another race win in season 5.
The worst thing that we can do as a team, to be completely honest, is get too carried away with what is, in many ways, a fair fan perspective in terms of the poor results.
The depth in this fleet is so tight. You know, it used to be that if you could get around the race course on the foils, you were going to be in the top 3, maybe top 4. And now with the depth in the fleet,
we've had 7 different teams win in 10 races. Gives you an idea of the quality of the teams and to me, which makes for the excitement for the fan.
Today, you know, we had 2 good starts out of 3. The first race we had, you know, we rounded mark 1 in 4th or 5th, and then as well in the last race today, I think we had the best start that we'd had in quite some time, where we were really aggressive, we were really forceful with where we wanted to be on the line. So it shows that we've been working on the starts that sometimes you need to take a bit of a step back to be able to take a step forward.
It's a bit of a process because we don't want to flip everything on its head. We just need to keep chipping away. You know, you've got to look at the big picture and where we're headed, and it is now, unfortunately, next season.
We're all very, very committed to making sure that we're up near the pointy end of the fleet, and that's what we're hard at work trying to do. It's the competition never stops, it never sleeps. We go home, we eat, sleep, drink, breathe SailGP, and how do we get better? And that's the mentality that every single person has on this team, is how do we get better and how do we get back to being at the pointy end of the fleet and putting in the work to be able to get there.
Although there may not look as if there is a lot changing, there is a lot of things that are being put in place that should hopefully enable us to step forward and look game and address some of the key issues that we've had this season.